And welcome into the Friday edition, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Ian Safar here with you live from our Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Joe Rexrode, good morning. How we doing? What's going on?
We're doing all right. I guess not as well as you Packers fans with your soon-to-be 17-0 football team.
They look good.
They do look
Should have
good.
closed that game out in about the second quarter last night, but look good.
Now you're going to be the perfectionist fan, huh?
There's always room for improvement. You don't want to be playing your best football in September.
Jordan Love.
There you go.
Defense looks great. Offense looks good. Needs to ratchet it up one notch.
So is last night a little bit more of confirmation of how good your Packers are, or is it the first? Because I do think the first week is both things. The Lions are taking a step back.
Yeah.
I got to say that of what I watched last night, yeah, the Commander, and we've been talking about it.
Yeah.
So it's almost like overkill, but like they're not. They're good.
Yeah, like
I
think they're good. I think if you think that Washington is in the same class as Philadelphia and Green Bay just because they made the NFC title game last year, I would say no, they are not.
I would agree.
So we'll see. I mean, Green Bay's defense is really, really good. Their offense is good. Jaden Reed gets hurt, so that's not good. He broke his collarbone last night, so we'll see when he's back. Probably going to be sometime in November or December before he's back. But I think they're fine without him. They got a lot of receivers. Need Love to hit on some of the deep shots, but he was good last night. I mean, he hadn't thrown an interception in like 10 games, so he's fine. I'm not complaining about him. There's another level that the offense can get to.
There you go.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Ian Safar, how we doing?
Doing great. Happy Friday, everybody. Should be a fun weekend of football. Last night's game was pretty solid. Mostly listened. Still on my Amazon pause.
Oh, yeah.
So didn't have the Prime rolling yet. But, yeah, doing good. It was a fun game. Made it till about halftime.
There you go.
But, yeah.
It's about when I tapped out.
Yeah.
I watched every snap.
I'm sure.
Of course you did.
And Micah
Every
Parsons
snap.
is looking pretty.
Yeah, that's
pretty
kind
good.
of the main takeaway is like, oh my God, I can't believe they traded him. It's just crazy. Like if you go back, if you watch the game last night and you just see the impact he makes, it's crazy. Like it's every play he's out there, he makes an impact on the game. It's not like every play. And people
He's
say this
shot
all
out
the
of a
time.
cannon, man.
He gets held every play, every single one, and they could call it every time. They don't, which irritates me. But they do call it sometimes, and then you go back and look at all the replays, and it's like, wow, he literally gets held every play. There's nothing you can do with him. It's crazy.
Yeah. No, the one, because of course he's going. I couldn't believe that there was ever a snap where Washington let that rookie just be on an island against him.
Yeah, good luck, kid.
He made that little inside move, and the guy tried to tackle him. It was a holding, but like he couldn't even really hold him that well. That's how bad he was. The guy was like, screw it, I'm just going to tackle him.
Yeah.
And it was like, he still got by you.
Back looks okay, by the way.
Yeah.
So I think he's going to be all right.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be fine. So good win for the Packers, 2-0 there. We'll see how that continues to go. Not good news for the Tennessee Titans yesterday, Joe. J.C. Latham speaking with reporters yesterday, saying that he's going to be out this weekend against the L.A. Rams. And obviously we considered that possibility throughout the week on the show of doesn't sound good on the Latham front. And you had Callahan getting up there on Monday and talking about he would be a guy they'd have to keep an eye on this week. So it's official. Latham has put it out there that he's not playing on Sunday, which means the Titans are without their starting right tackle at a position group, Joe, where the Titans really can't afford to be without their starting right tackle or their starting left tackle. So now you have the LA Rams coming in, the defensive front that they've got that we talked about. You've got Dan Moore coming off a game where, frankly, he did not look very good, and it's a little bit concerning over there on the left side. And now you've got J.C. Latham unavailable in this game. So pretty quickly into the season, Joe, a situation that the Titans did not want to run into, and that is an injury to one of their tackles. And now that depth, which doesn't really appear to be there, is being tested immediately.
What did Cam Ward say? I'd like to see you guys try to block that. Well,
You might.
maybe that will be required.
You might.
Can we-
Kuharski,
Yeah.
get out there.
Can we like attach Karski and Glennon to each other, kind of like that, that Siamese twins movie with Matt Damon. What was that called? Stuck on You?
Why would you do that to Glennon?
Stuck on You.
Yeah,
God.
that'd be a tough one.
Yeah, I mean it's a tough one, man.
You want me to talk so you can plug your laptop?
Yeah,
over
sorry.
there? Oh,
My-
you can.
my-
No,
my
I want
laptop
to see. I'm having fun watching this.
Ferrer is
Oh, here.
on the market, I believe.
Rexrode is trying to perfectly strike the balance of continuing to speak somewhat into the microphone while also looking behind him and trying to find the plug over there. It's beautiful.
I should have, like one of my favorite things you do is when you yell, you back away from the mic. Which is
I try to
smart.
which
I don't do. Which is that's why I should have used that as a yelling opportunity while I plug in. Oh my God, here I go! I just didn't have.
There's
anything
the wall outlet. It's right over here.
Very bad preparation by me to not plug in before the show. But yeah, it's bad. There's two things. One is a hip thing.
Yeah, not good.
A hip thing with a big fella like that already. And so he was dealing with it in camp and kind of in and out. And then the first game, immediately it's a problem. And he's throwing his helmet on the sideline and because it's bad. He's trying to go back in. It's like, dude, you can't go back in. And now he's just, before we even get to the injury report, he's like, yeah, I'm out. I mean, this could be all season. I'm not saying all season out, but this could be all season where it's just a question with him in and out. Plus, how does that affect his performance when he is in? It's a bad deal. You compare that with what we saw from Dan Moore, trying to keep an open mind. And again, it's like it is tough to start with just from that perspective, that position, Broncos, Rams, from a pass pro perspective.
Yeah.
Pass pro perspective. That is, you're going to have some easier weeks than the first two. So that's good. But what we saw from him was not good.
No. Well, and that's, again, you're hoping at some point J.C. Latham turns into a guy at right tackle that's a pretty darn good player in this league. And number one, this is hindering that. This is, how do you get better in this league? You play games. You go out there and you play. So need him to be available. But number two, to your point, probably the more concerning point in the short term is how long is this going to affect him? Like, how long is the hip going to be a problem for him? Is this one thing where, put another week on it of rest and him not being out there on the field and he's good to go next week? Or is this going to be something that's nagging all year long? Because that's what you don't want. And, the Titans, as we know, they're just not in a spot right now. And very few teams in the NFL are in a spot right now where you can lose a starting tackle and feel good about the replacement going in. So it's not a good thing.
Right. Yeah. I mean, their tackle depth definitely looked bad last week. I think obviously this week was probably a lot for Bill Callahan about trying to figure that out. So a lot of teams have that issue. And again, the problem with the Titans is that they've had the issue of no tackle starters, backups, practice squad, guys you might look at in free agency, possible draftees, people in middle school who might play for the Titans in the 2030s. Like, they all suck. I don't know why this is, but like the offensive tackle position has become for the Tennessee Titans in the 2020s what the receiver position has always been thought to be. It's like, I mean, it really is an incredible run with different coaches, different offensive line coaches, head coaches, GMs, assistant GMs, vice presidents of sprinkling, whatever is going on. Like, they just cannot find an offensive tackle who can play.
They need like Joe Boo or something from Major League to come in here. Like, I don't know what is going on around here with the tackles right now. And again, we're 1 week and they went up against a good defensive front. So maybe Dan Moore, as the year goes on, looks better. And you feel like, okay, well, he's at least fine over there. I don't know that you're ever going to get to like, oh, I feel awesome about Dan Moore being my left tackle.
That's all we were asking for is fine.
But can he get to fine at some point this year? We'll see. I still have an open mind to that. Not a good start on the Dan Moore front. Latham, I've talked about it many times. It's very important to me. Like, it's not Cam Ward important. It's not figuring out if Brian Callahan is the right coach for the team level of important. But it's pretty important that J.C. Latham at some point this year, you look at him and you say, yeah, not only is he a good right tackle, he's a great right tackle. Like, he needs to end up being that guy. That's a 7th overall pick that you drafted to be your left tackle that needs to be an elite player at right tackle. and now he's hurt.
Yeah. Other than that, it's going well, though.
Yeah.
No, it's like Lawan and Conklin, Lawan and Conklin. So Conklin's out after the 19 season. Lawan basically, of course, he tore his ACL midway through 2020.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's pretty incredible. All the different people they've tried to bring in first, second, third round picks, high free agent contracts.
Yep.
And they just haven't found anything. Again, I do think that Latham has it in him to be good, which you'll take all day. You'll take that. You're right. As a 7th pick, you better be better than good, but whatever. I mean,
at this point.
Yeah, like the person who made that pick, I guess technically, is gone anyway.
Yep.
I mean, just be good. I think he can be. But it's like year 2, you lose all the weight and all this, and now a hip. Hip is it's not back, but it's and it's not like sciatica. But hip is, like think about that position in particular with a hip. It's just not. Doesn't seem like something that's like you're not doing a lot of activity at work that's going to like necessarily help you cool down the hip.
Right.
Right.
Exactly. Which begs the question of either number one, how long is he going to be out? Or number two, how long is it going to be nagging at him and he tries to push through it? I mean, it's not a good spot to be in. So in the short term, now here you are against the LA Rams, and your quarterback in game number 2, his home opener, is not going to have a starting right tackle out there. So what does that mean?
Sounds good.
Are we about to be in for yet another season of Titans football where the offensive line can't block anyone? And if so, is that doom for everyone involved? We'll get into that coming up next as well. 615-737-1025, Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game.
When you look back at the sacks, did you see realistic chances for you to get rid of the ball, either to maybe get a play or to get it out of bounds? Or were you in some situations where you just had to eat it and move on?
I think it was more of me just not getting the ball out in a stance of, especially the back-to-back sacks. At that point, we in field goal range, like, just throw the ball over the receiver head out of bounds if you feel it. So that's just stuff that, I got to get better at week by week. And then at the end of the day, nobody going to be perfect. I want y'all to get up there and try to block one of the big boys on the D-line. It ain't that easy. So me and the O-line, we good. I had some bad pocket movement as well. So I take full – just responsibility on my part. They'll do the same as well. And then, this is their first game, with me in a live set and not me getting taken out, for a preseason game. So, we still getting, used to each other. But, we gonna turn around fast and try to get a win this week.
That's Cam Ward on Wednesday discussing the offensive line. Says, hey, Terry McCormick, you get out there and you try to block somebody.
I took that as like a, kind of defending his lineman and taking a little shot. Actually, maybe it was actually a cry for help. Like, I'd really like you to please come out here.
You guys,
the larger of you, please.
Do some stretching real quick. Let's get the most nimble of you out here.
Who would be the best media offensive lineman? We don't really have
here at the station might be Big Joe.
Yeah, I guess that's true. We're gonna have to put. Big Joe.
He has some experience.
He was a. He is that what he played at Samford? O-line? I think that's right.
One of the lines.
Yeah, he was on a line of scrimmage.
I don't exactly know.
Was that back then? It didn't matter.
He was on a line of scrimmage.
Hold the line, Big Joe.
I want to say offense, but I could be mistaken.
And there's Big Joe Dubin holding the line for the Samford Bulldogs. Like back then, they all just played every position. That's how old you are. Get it, Big Joe?
Rexrode would have been a pretty good play-by-play guy in 1940.
Exactly. And we're riding the train to South Bend. I have no idea, man.
I'm just glad your computer's plugged in. Everything's all good.
Yeah.
We're all good to go now.
Thank God I can be right by the microphone now, so all of my words are broadcast.
So in the short term on Sunday, how big a deal is this in your mind, not having Latham from the Cam Ward Tennessee Titans trying to move the ball against that defense, which was already, in my opinion, Joe, going to be tough enough, even if he was out there, and now he's not. So how big a blow is this for Sunday?
Yeah, it's really bad. Again, I think the Rams have more guys you worry about, really worry about, than Denver. I understand that, Denver, the numbers overall may favor Denver, but again, you're coming with you got Fisk and you got Verse and you've got VFL Byron Young.
Yep.
You've got Kobe Turner is there's a lot of guys you have to deal with, and I just think that the Rams have to be looking at this and we can 4-man pass rush is going to work all day Sunday. So it's just it's a very bad situation to be in against their strength. One of their strengths. I would say it is their primary strength. And by the way, I did not know that Laurel Murchison is on the Rams.
I didn't either.
I'm actually kind of stunned that Laurel Murchison's in the league.
I am too. Good for him, man.
Titan legend.
Way to go.
Yeah, but it's just it's the worst matchup. And again, the bigger concern. In 1 week, you understand the situation. You got to figure it out. The ball's got to be out fast. Yep. You got to do screens. You have to hope that you can still run the ball. That's the thing with Latham is, I think with Latham and Zeitler over there, and with Skoronski, you have a good run blocking offensive line. So now you take that strength away. That's your biggest antidote against a pass rush and your biggest help for your rookie quarterback. Yep. And so how much weaker are you as a running team without Latham?
Well, it's a big question. And again, I think this is another test for Brian Callahan. Conventional wisdom would tell you, Joe, particularly with where this roster is right now, that not having J.C. Latham in there is a big deal. And I do think there's probably a limitation as to what the coach can do in that situation. But look, we do see some coaches around the league who were missing starting tackles, starting offensive linemen, that put together some game plans that can compensate some of that. I mean, we saw it last night. The Packers didn't have their starting left guard and their starting right tackle, and they went out there and put up 27 points against a good defense. Like you can do it in this league. Some of it is on your coach and scheming some things up to see if you can get the ball. Like I keep going back to Lockett. Like Lockett to me needs to be a bigger part of the game plan this week because of, I think, his ability to get open quickly and to have easy access throws for Cam Ward. I think you're going to need some easy access throws for Cam Ward this week.
Tight ends in the backs too.
Yep.
Yeah, or the back probably.
Yeah, probably.
So, I mean, this is just real quick here. Wes in Murfreesboro says, I have no patience for the answer. We need more time to get used to each other and gel together. That's what preseason games are for. Play every snap if so. But first of all, again, like you're not going to be the one NFL team. There is more starters. It's bouncing back that way a little bit. You're not going to play every snap. And again, when you're playing in the preseason, how much does it help you once you get into playing against the 2s and the 3s who aren't game planning at all, right?
Yeah.
So it's just a vanilla 2s and 3s defense. I mean, sure, you still are working on your timing and chemistry, but you can do that in practice.
Oh, and by the way, the Titans starting offensive line, I mean, they didn't play a lot in the preseason, but they played in every game, and they looked really good while doing it.
Yeah.
And then you go out against Denver, and it's like, oh, so these are not the 2s of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers that they're going up against right now. These are the 1s for the Denver Broncos,
right.
And it's quite a difference.
Yeah, the people who are obsessed with the preseason stuff, again, like I don't think you are grasping like how different a preseason game is to a real game. This is what we have. It's like you just don't know so many things about a football team until you play real games because so many things about real games are not part of preseason games.
Yeah. Devin from Dover says the O-line has been a problem for the last 3 years.
3?
It's an ownership and front office problem. Yeah, I would extend it beyond 3. But it's been a major problem the last 3 years. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I mean, yeah, absolutely. Like,
Just arguably fail the last 3 years.
Arguably worst in the league the last 2 seasons. But yes, I mean, I guess the problem goes back to, well, basically letting Conklin walk and then your choice of Isaiah Wilson to replace him. Start there and then just continue on down the line. Lawan getting hurt is nobody's fault. He probably would have had a little bit longer career if not, right? I mean, He was a rookie in what? Rookie in 14?
14.
And he was done in 20. He probably
former face of the franchise.
He probably that's right. He probably could have had a 10-year career, but so that's nobody's fault. But again, it's like this every single choice by all these different people. I mean, they have they have packed in so much offensive line fail.
Oh yeah,
in a half a decade.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Yeah, it's great. And again, it's one game this year, so I know that Titans fans watched the game on Sunday against Denver, and it looked the same, right? It looked like it's looked the last couple of years, and it's like, oh no, surely this is not going to be some huge issue again. I'm not willing to totally go there yet. Like, it's a bad matchup against Denver. I don't think it's a whole lot better this week against the Rams. And I realize at some point we got to get past it's Denver. Their defense is really good. And it's LA. Their defense is really good. It's like, no, it's the NFL. So, shockingly, some teams have some good defenses out there. So I get it. I understand we got to get past that. I'm not willing to just totally buy into the fact yet that the line's going to be a disaster again this year. It's not a good start. And I'd feel better about it, obviously, if Latham was out there. And I guess what I'm really scared of is, like, if this injury is something that's just going to limit and or hinder the progress of Latham throughout the season, that to me is where I get really worried about it.
Yeah, no doubt. We just did last week? We did our most important Titans, right?
Yeah.
Well, I have Moore first and Latham third, I think.
You did. Yes.
I mean, I feel exactly the same way. And the thing with Dan Moore is, look, every tackle, like Brian Callahan made this point this week, those other guys get paid a lot too. Someone brought up, like Moore's contract and, the performance and how do you evaluate performance? Well, there's some guys on the other side who have big contract. That is true. And like, you're going to get beat. You're going to get made to look bad. In a whole season, you can take the best offensive lineman in the league and you can easily put together a tape of that offensive lineman getting pantsed. Okay.
Yeah.
The problem is there's like 6-7 snaps of it with Dan Moore in that
Yeah.
first game against different people. And even like the first play, I'm not sure what happened, but it was messed up. The run, it appeared he messed up the scheme on that, but maybe not, again, I don't know that's the case, but it just was it was a discouraging.
It's not like this is totally new information with Dan Moore either. Like
Right.
I remember the day they signed him and you looked around and you were looking at the numbers and you're like, why? And going back, like, I guess I understand why. Like, you're drafting Cam Ward number 1 overall. I think they probably had a pretty good idea they were taking a quarterback at that time when free agency opened up. So if you're not drafting a tackle high, then just go spend the money. I get it. I do. And again, it's one game. We'll see if he ends up being fine. I mean, he also gave up the most sacks in the league last year. It's not like this is necessarily a new thing from Dan Moore.
Right. So we might be talking about another year.
And I say that because as Paul pointed out the other day, it's like, hey, Dan Moore gave up the most sacks in the league last year, but Russell Wilson was his quarterback and he holds on to the ball too long. It's like, okay, well, maybe there's something to that. Oh, and he plays in the AFC North, and apparently, like, all the good pass rushers just play in the AFC North. Nobody else has any good pass rushers. It's like, well, believe it or not, Dan Moore might run into some good pass rushers somewhere else.
Get him out of there. Get him out of there, and he is just the Iron Curtain. Nothing getting past that anymore.
615-737-1025, our phone number. A lot of your Titans thoughts to get to. We will continue to do that. We will get into Vanderbilt, South Carolina coming up at 7 o'clock. We have Tennessee, Georgia thoughts in the next hour as well to get into. All that ahead. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Wisconsin takes on Alabama tomorrow at 11 a.m. in our college football game of the week on 102.5 The Game, presented by Twin Peaks Restaurants and Circus Sportsbook Kentucky. Coverage also available on the Game Nashville app and at thegamenashville.com. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Ian Safar here with you on this Friday morning, taking your thoughts on our phone and text lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. No J.C. Latham coming up this weekend for the Titans, which sounds like a very bad thing for the Tennessee Titans. In all fairness, Joe, the Rams have some offensive line issues of themselves. And, their guards are sitting there with sprained ankles. So we'll see if they can play or not this weekend, week to week. So usually when you're week to week, that's not very good.
Yeah, you're not going to play.
You're at least going to be limited
to play this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of times. Of course, they're like, well, good week, play the Titans. Although, actually, not necessarily the interior. I mean, that is
Jeff Simmons
kind of lost in a lot of things that got lost this week because of other things that had to come to the forefront. Jeff Simmons was pretty freaking good the first week. I mean, he was a problem for them. And I think he'll be, as long as he can keep it healthy, I think he's going to be a problem for people.
Brian on the text line, will there be a time to start looking at Bill Callahan as the line coach being part of the problem, or is it only that we don't have the talent there that we need from years past? What do you make of that?
Well, look, first of all, Bill Callahan isn't just here to coach offensive line. He's been a head coach. And as an offensive line, I mean, one of the best coaches, really one of the most celebrated offensive line coaches ever, honestly. Like he looked at Nicholas Petit-Frere last year and said, yeah, we can work with that guy. I mean, like they even, I mean, look, go back to Indy last year in the combine, and they made a huge deal. Rand made a huge deal out of several things that turned out to be maybe not worth talking much about, but Brian Callahan did too. Like the way that Bill Callahan broke down film and the way he evaluates players and all this stuff, they leaned heavily on him.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm like, yeah. And I think we both were like, yeah, I mean, Petit-Frere is serviceable, right? Like you can get by with him. And if Bill Callahan gave him the seal of approval, to me, okay, well, I feel better about him. Well, it was a complete disaster. And then they draft J.C. Latham, say, yeah, you move him to left tackle. Oh, no, actually, we need to move him back to right tackle. I mean, so it's not just the performance of the line. It seems like some of his evaluations right now are not on point.
He's not having the impact I thought he would. I mean, it's just cut and dry. He's not having the impact that I thought he would. Now, then you can get into how much of that is actually him, how much of that is this roster's trash. But to your point, like he's been influential in some of these decisions.
Yeah, he's not coming out to the practice field and just saying, just give me whatever you got and I'll mold the clay. He's actively involved in, as he should be.
And again, like the most recent example before he got here was in Cleveland, where he was like on his third tackle. And they somehow figured out a way to play serviceable football out there.
Exactly. So it's not like he came in here coasting on reputation and it was like, well, maybe actually it's been a few years since he's been that great. He was like the toast of Cleveland for what he somehow did to cobble things together. So you could look at it right now and say it's just been a run of really bad luck for him and them. But I would say like the Bill Callahan effect really needs to start happening
now. Yeah, like it
immediately.
Didn't we expect some of that this year? Like,
yes.
And I understand you're talking about resources because you're talking about 7th overall pick at right tackle, a $20 million guy at left tackle, a first-round pick at left guard,
11th pick at left guard,
the most expensive center at the time on the market, and Cushenberry coming back in. And Zeitler didn't cost you a lot, but he's a veteran guy that's been around for a long time.
It's a good signing of someone who would have had other suitors, like would be starting for someone else if he wasn't starting for you. It's a very the investment level of this offensive line is high.
Well, and because of that, with who their offensive line coach is, like you need to see dramatic improvement there this year. And again, it's one game. So I'm not throwing in the towel yet on the offensive line being way better this year than it's been the last couple of years. All I know is through one game, it looked like more of the same. And that can't happen. Like that can't continue. They can't have they got another game or two like we saw on Sunday where they're just an absolute sieve out there and they can't protect the quarterback at all. I don't know how this staff overcomes that. I don't, because it's automatically going to mean bad things for your quarterback, bad things for your offense, and they're not talented enough to overcome that.
Right. There's nothing worse you can do for your young quarterback than get him hit all the time. And yeah, this was the big bonus of hiring Brian Callahan, right? Texter says, don't the Bengals always have line issues too? Maybe it's a 17-point per game offensive scheme. Well, the Bengals offense also has not been a 17-point per game scheme. Yeah, especially when the Bengals came in here that year. They somehow got to the Super Bowl that year with pretty bad offensive line play, right? Yeah. Which is part of like the legend of Joe Burrow and all that. But they've addressed that. I'd say it's not what they used to be. This team has not figured out a way to address it.
No. And if they don't address it, as much as anything else, like if you don't address it and you're not able to improve it this year as the year goes on, then that is probably, Joe, going to be as responsible of anything as to why the coach could be out of here, right? Like if your offensive line just can't block, well, it's going to mean bad things for your rookie quarterback. And maybe it doesn't spell like career doom for your rookie quarterback. Like maybe he can get past it eventually and overcome it. But as a rookie, even with the number 1 overall pick, it's going to mean bad things if you can't protect him. And we saw that week 1, right? Like week 1, all the quarterbacks are looking at the tape from Cam Ward and Orlovsky and Chase Daniel and Kurt Benkert and all these guys were like, man, Cam Ward, unbelievable tape. And it's like, well, that's good, but is he going to have time at all this year to throw it and to move the ball down the field with any sort of consistency? Or is he just going to be running for his life? And by the way, that's with J.C. Latham out there. If J.C. Latham's not out there, like, are we going to, by the first drive on Sunday, are we going to look around and be like, well, they got a big problem at right tackle. They're going to have to help him all game, which means that Dan Moore is going to be on an island by himself out there, and that may not go well. It's just already a horrible situation for Ward.
So now they got to help him. So, yeah. How many people are going out for passes?
Yeah.
You play 12 personnel, play 2 tight ends all day and just have them, chip for both tackles.
Not what you want.
It's not ideal.
And I thought with Latham in there, running to the right side of the offensive line would be a strong suit. Run right. You got Zeitler and you got Latham. You got some experience and some beef over there and some power.
Yeah.
Run the ball right. I thought, and with that, I don't know how Udo is in run block either.
Yeah,
I mean, no one really cares too much about your tackle and run blocking, but
it needs to be good this week.
So, I don't know how much of a drop off there will be there.
Yeah. I think that's the thing. If you want to not be in 3rd and 8 and have the issues, then you need to run the ball or you need to keep the defense off balance. And this is, look, okay. So I said earlier, I think maybe Monday, it's like, hey, you know what Callahan needs? Brian Callahan, he needs a Vrabel special. We need to be talking about a Callahan special. So well, that game against the Texans, Vrabel was missing his top 3 offensive tackles.
Yeah.
And that was when they had J.J. Watt and they had Clowney and they had help me with the third guy.
I'm trying to think back of that Texans roster.
Well, anyway, they had pass rush galore. And it was like
Merciless, maybe?
Whitney Merciless?
Yeah.
Yes.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
So they had pass rush galore. It's like, this is a terrible. And so what do? There was a lot of there was definitely a lot of smoke and mirrors on offense. There was the fake punt. Find a way. This is whatever the offensive game plan here this week. Find a way. Move the pocket, play action, screens, whatever. This is where a play caller, an offensive designer, and a head coach needs to make, because it is a reality in the NFL. Like Sean McVay is going to figure something out, right? With these injuries. Good coaches in this league know you're going to lose key players all the time. And so what do you do? What do you do to give your players a chance? Here's a great test for Brian Callahan.
Well, and Dan Orlovsky said this the other day, and I largely agree. Here's what he said, quote, If you don't have a difference maker as a play caller in the NFL today, you will not survive as a team. The disparity is glaring. And it's about time that Brian Callahan showed that he can be a difference maker in that way. He hasn't to this point, and it's got to happen at some point. It's got to.
Yeah. And that's the thing. If you, without Latham, can come up with a way to move the football, score some points, have a chance, maybe even win a football game, that'd be a good
sign. Yeah.
That's a strong quote. I mean, that's it's like a lot of people can call plays, are fine at calling plays, but are you a difference maker?
615-737-1025. Our phone number, 615-737-1025. Got a couple more thoughts on the Titans offensive front that I want to get to coming up next. We'll get into Vanderbilt, South Carolina coming up in the next hour. Eric Kane will join us from VolQuest at 7:30. We'll look ahead to Tennessee and Georgia, and we'll have TD coming up at 8, get his thoughts on the Week 2 matchup against the Rams. All that ahead. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Welcome back in. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Later today on ESPN 94.9 The Fan, the Sounds taking on Gwinnett at First Horizon Park. First pitch at 6:35. Coverage also available on the Game Nashville app and at theGameNashville.com. Sounds Baseball on ESPN 94.9 The Fan, presented by Twin Peaks and Family Leisure. We are taking your thoughts on the Titans. Joe on the YouTube chat says the Boo Birds will be coming out before halftime. We'll see. Hopefully not.
I'd bet money on that because I think at this point, I could be wrong, but I think at this point, this fan base, and if this is true, it's 100% justified. I think this fan base is ready to boo at the first 3 and out.
I could see that.
Not a lot of people, but like the first 3 and out, which I promise you won't be too long to wait for this. Like there's going to be people. And then if it gets to the point where it's like multiple just bad offensive possessions, sacks, things like that,
it could get nasty.
No, I think we will hear Boo Birds. And again, I just can't blame anyone. I know some Titans fans are like, why are you? It's week 2. We want this team to be good, trying to support this team, and you're immediately going to go to that. And I get that sentiment too. But ultimately, it's just when you're force-fed crap sandwiches this many years in a row, it's not like you just
cumulative effect.
Yeah. Yep. I'm not advocating for it. I'm just saying I get it.
No, I'm with you. David from Paris says, I can't take it anymore. It's too much. An inept coach, front office, owner, offensive line. Cam Ward has to be thinking while playing Fortnite, what the hell did I get into? It's from David on the text line. So let me just go take out some stress on the Fortnite real quick.
So, Cam, how would you rank your owner, your GM, your coach,
Top 5,
and Traylon Burks? Best in the league, across the board.
This is a low T alert.
You could have a few of those.
God. Is it low T Titans or tight buns? So we figured this out.
I think either is acceptable. I like what you've done here. I do. I like what you've done. Megan says, hopefully it'll be like the Titans-Rams game back in 2021. Just lost Derrick Henry. Everybody expected the Titans to get smoked, but they went in there and won a beautiful Vrabel special game. That was a beautiful one.
Yeah, it was a Byard pick 6 and Simmons. I mean, that was probably Jeff Simmons' best game. What do you have, like 3.5 sacks or something? Really good. Yeah. Dupree actually looked like a dude in that game. Yeah, they don't quite have. It's like Dupree, Landry, Simmons. They still have Simmons.
They do.
And also, like, probably the most underrated Titan of their good era, which is the guy whose
name escapes you.
My brain is
David
really
Long?
a problem. No, on the edge, versatile.
Landry?
No, my God, guys, help me.
I missed the first part. Sorry.
The most
Played for the Colts.
Autry.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, that dude was Danico Autry was a big part of that was, and I do, my understanding is Rand tried to keep him. So then they went and got Ridley, right? I believe that's
Rand tried to cook.
Rand was trying to keep the ingredients in the kitchen, and then he had to go out and go shopping. Put on the chef hat.
Stove broke.
Yeah.
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
That is a tough one. I mean, you bring up Ridley. What's he going to do in this game, right? I mean, I think disappointing would be kind to Calvin Ridley in week 1. Not very good from Calvin Ridley in week 1. So how does he respond in week 2? How much will he have the opportunity to respond given what could be some limitations on the offensive line? Like, can they hold up long enough to get the ball down the field to Ridley? Like, what's it going to look like with Ridley in this game? I mean, that to me is, if they can't get him going in this game, the offense is going to be in trouble. So that's a crucial part of this, is Ridley's got to respond with a really good week here.
Yeah. You got to get the ball in his hands. I think you probably have to get the ball in his hands fast at times. He needs to catch it. Can you take some shots? Can you run the ball at all? Can you plunge? Are you reading Keith?
Yeah.
Two-tone blue chew. That is absolutely brilliant, Keith.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
By the way, a lot of people love
just make jokes at their expense. Do we need to talk about them anymore?
Good Lord. I mean, we probably should, because sitting here and having the same conversation on the offensive line that we've talked about for 3 years in a row just drives me nuts. I can't do it. I said it last week. I can't do this all year. I can't sit here and about week 8 roll around and be like, so the offensive line's complete trash out there, huh? Let's talk about that some more. It should be a lot of fun. Awesome. By the way, people really love your low T Titans. What have you lost it over there for?
I think there was some spillage.
Yeah, but it was because of this text.
I haven't seen it. I don't know what it is. I mean, very rarely do we get a text in here, Ian, that just completely
Derails.
loses
I
Rexrode.
can't do it. I can't read it.
He's completely gone.
This you got to give me your name. I need to like pay you money. He said low T Titans is good. I prefer the love ya poos. Why is that so funny to me? I don't know. But the fact that we brought it back to love ya blue, love ya. I mean, I don't. Why is that so funny? I don't know. Titans have made me just like it's like losing
All right,
my
so,
mind.
I mean, what's your favorite? Low T Titans, love you poos, or the tight buns? Got some options. Good God, we need a good professional football team around here, don't we?
My God, help us, please.
Please.
It's not even 7
All right,
a.m.
here's my message to Brian Callahan. Please go win this game. Get out there and beat the LA Rams. I need you to coach the game of your life. Everybody's talking about you this week. They think you're some buffoon out there. Get out there and coach. Coach your butt off this week. We need this team to win games. We need this team to win because we are subjecting ourselves to anything else right now because we're so tired of watching this football team just scrape around out there and be absolute trash. Come on, Brian. Let's go win some football games. Come on.
I like it. It's worth a shot. Please, someone send that to him. I believe we got a team. It's gonna be good.
I got to say, I still think Low T Titans is probably my favorite.
Yeah, it works pretty well. But thank you. Yeah. Oh, Rob from Nolensville coming straight out of Nolensville, baby. Big game tonight for the Knights. Love you, poos. I don't know. Why did that make me just completely incapable of speaking for a few moments? I don't know.
Jess says it sounds like we're all going crazy. This Titans fans.
I think so.
Yep.
I think so. It's just, like this organization, if it's really bad this year, I think they had one other 4-year stretch. I looked at this the other day, and then I was gonna maybe do it like suggest it as a segment that I forgot. But they had the mid 80s. They had 4 straight years of double-digit losses, and this is probably going to be the 4th straight year here. So I mean, the entire history of the organization, right? And that was back then. Then they started drafting like Bruce Matthews, Dane Steincolor, Mike Munchak. That's what happens. When you're that bad, you just try. Let's start with the offensive line. They've been trying to do that now.
They have.
Maybe way in the future, we'll talk about this era and say that's when they got Latham and they got Skaronski and see that the foundation of a turnaround was in place. But my God, right now, it does not look good.
One texter says, I'm a fan of 2 teams, the Titans and the Giants. Who's worse?
Wow. That's tough. Are you really? That's tough. Chuck says he would buy a Low T Titan shirt. Maybe we should start marketing some of these things. If I head down to the farmer's market in Nolensville and I see a Love You Poos shirt, I am buying that sucker.
Yeah. It's just,
Derek, get it on the market, baby.
Get it on there. Let's go. 615-737-1025, our phone number. Let's talk about some teams that, hey, might be pretty good. Vanderbilt taking on South Carolina in a big game coming up this weekend down in Columbia. Tennessee and Georgia we will get into later. Next hour, we will start on Vanderbilt and South Carolina. Can Vanderbilt slay what has been an untamable dragon for them lately? We'll get into that. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Out number 2, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Ian Safar here with you on this Friday morning, live from our Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. We will be joined later this hour by Eric Kane from VolQuest. We'll get his thoughts on Tennessee and Georgia coming up tomorrow in Neyland. Teron Davenport at 8 o'clock. Pigskin Pick'em at 8:30. So all that ahead here on the program. Joe, a big one tomorrow for Vanderbilt. They are on the road, taking on South Carolina. Big win, incredible second half for Vanderbilt last week against Virginia Tech. And if you can get this win, you're looking like you're in pretty good shape if you're the Vanderbilt Commodores. Now, South Carolina, I think to this point has looked okay. They did not start well against, I believe, South Carolina State last week, and then they pulled away later in the game. But I thought they looked okay against Virginia Tech. We know how gifted their quarterback is in Lenore Sellers, and they've got, basically a quarterback that's an absolute freak, an edge rusher that's an absolute freak, a receiver who's an absolute freak in terms of the physical traits that they bring to the table, and that's what you're going to have to try to handle if you're Vanderbilt in this game. This has also been a place where Vanderbilt has not had success. I mean, South Carolina, for whatever reason, has just absolutely owned Vanderbilt. So can you flip that script if you're Clarkley and company, and can you go down there to South Carolina and get a win? We'll have our picks for this game coming up later in the show in Pigskin Pick'em. But, I mean, Joe, if you can get this one, which I realize it's a big if, but if you can get this one if you're Vanderbilt, you get to 3-0. Your next two games are at home against Georgia State and at home against Utah State. Two games that Vanderbilt should win. I realize they lost to Georgia State on the road last year, but those are two games that they should win. And you could be, if you can get this one tomorrow, Joe, you could be looking at a 5-0 Vanderbilt team walking into Alabama on October the 4th. Big opportunity for the Doors tomorrow.
Yeah, and the last time that happened, well, that has happened one time since World War II, which was 2008. They started 5-0. But so you're talking about for the second time since 1943, Vanderbilt can be 5-0. And I expect it to be 5. If they win this game, I just don't, this team is not last year's team that was still trying to figure things out and lost the Georgia State game where it's kind of like, same old Vandy. This team's gonna handle those two next opponents. I have no doubt. So, I mean, at worst, they're 4-1 going into Bama. But if they win this game, then Vanderbilt Commodores college football playoff team is a conversation to be had without the slightest giggle. Like unless you throw love ya poos out or something like that. I mean, basically, like you cannot laugh.
That really got you
at the idea. I don't know why it was good, but I made it turn. I turned it into like the greatest joke of all time. But seriously, they are a serious playoff contender if they win this game. And then you get into so many things with that. The rest of the schedule is still really tough. But I mean, to me, it's like in this day and age, basically you can, especially if you have a schedule like they do, if you can go 10-2, you're going to be in. If you go 9-3, you're going to be on the fringe, right? That's the 12-team reality. And so much of it will also be like, what does South Carolina do after that to make that win hold up? But yeah, like you are in the conversation. And so then we're going to get into October and you're going to have that game at Alabama, and you're going to be in the discussion, which is just, that's miles and miles and miles away from what Vanderbilt reality has been for a century.
Yeah. I mean, it's a huge opportunity for Vanderbilt. Now, again, you're looking at the schedule at South Carolina, at Alabama, and I know everybody's down on Alabama right now. They're still a very talented team on the road.
Got some players
you got to go to.
Yep.
LSU, who knows? They may end up being the best team in the country. I have no idea.
Think about how huge that game in Nashville could be.
Yeah. Missouri, who's been good to this point. We'll see what they are as their schedule toughens up a little bit. It's not toughening up this week. Texas on the road, Auburn at home, who is good. We'll see how good. Kentucky, who I don't think is very good. And then at Tennessee. So still, I mean, the schedule you look at, to your point, and it's still pretty daunting. Like, it's a pretty daunting schedule.
Yes.
But if you can get this one, all of a sudden it's like, well, the bowl game becomes, I'm not going to say a guarantee, but the bowl game becomes like, well, that's the minimum. Like, it's the absolute minimum. If you get to 5-0, I realize the rest of those games I just rattled off,
There's no gimmies.
there's not a gimme in there. So I get that. But like, you're starting to think about, 7-5 minimum, right? Like, it's a huge opportunity for Vanderbilt in this game. And look, I think this is going to be a really good game. I do. Like, I think Vanderbilt absolutely has a shot to go down here and win. I don't know that I thought that in the preseason. Like, for whatever reason, the matchup has just been bad against South Carolina. And I just think Lenore Sellers is really good. Having watched Vanderbilt in that second half last week, like, they dominated Virginia Tech on the road in a way that South Carolina did not. South Carolina in a neutral site game did not. Now, there's not necessarily, we've talked about this before, trying to equate one game in football to what exactly that's going to mean for the next with a common opponent doesn't necessarily mean anything. There's no transitive property. But I think Vanderbilt, with how I saw them not only play offensively in the second half of that game, but really lock in defensively, that was probably my biggest takeaway, was they just totally stifled Virginia Tech in the second half of that game.
Yeah, it's going to be obviously it's a total step up. Like you said, South Carolina has like big time difference makers at key spots. But yeah, that defense in particular, Chiron Drones, Lenora Sellers is a flat out better player than him. They just have better players in general. Is that defense going to be able to hold up like that the way they did? Like they dominated. They dominated. Now, remember the first half, they looked kind of, I was like, yeah, okay, Virginia Tech's kind of going up and down the field on them. They figured out dominating the second half. Can they, can they get to Sellers, keep him contained, not give up huge plays, not let them just, run the football? I don't know. But I agree with you. Like, that part of this team has gotten stronger and looks legitimate. We're going to find out so much more about that. And yeah, 28-7 South Carolina last year, 47-6 South Carolina in 2023, that was that really bad Vanderbilt year coming off the really promising 22 year. And that was a better game. That was 38-27 South Carolina. In 21, it was 21-20 South Carolina. So they're like, Clark Lee and Vanderbilt have played close games against this program. But last year's was, and Pavia was hurt and everything, but that was a very disappointing performance and outcome for Vanderbilt at home, given all the other things that had gone on during the season, for South Carolina to thump them like that.
Well, Vandy hadn't beaten South Carolina since what, 08? It's 08. So it's quite a streak that South Carolina has put together here. It's weird.
Yeah.
Because South Carolina in that time frame, look,
great.
Vanderbilt in that time frame, but
Vanderbilt in
but you would think
frames. Yeah.
Between like the wild fluctuation of both of them, that Vanderbilt would get them a couple times during that stretch.
Like you would have thought maybe like during like the Franklin years.
Yeah.
I don't even know how often they played during those 3 years, but yeah, even
every year.
Well, that's right.
Yeah, they played every year.
Yeah. And even like, Derek Mason had some good teams. So yeah, it is a little bit weird actually. So maybe this is it. This is the turning point. It's, Tennessee trying to get over the Georgia hump, Vanderbilt trying to get over the South Carolina hump.
It really is. It's a massive weekend of SEC football around here. It is. Like, Vanderbilt with a huge opportunity on the road, another opportunity for Diego Pavia to further stamp his name in Vanderbilt lore and college football lore. Like, I think he's looked really good so far. Again, I put basically zero stock into the Charleston Southern game. But I will say in the Virginia Tech game, he made some throws where it's like, that's a pretty darn good throw.
Dropped in the bucket.
Yeah, like just dropping it right in the bucket, putting it exactly where it needs to be. And we know about him as a runner. We know about his toughness. We know about his mentality, all those things. But if he starts just dropping it in the bucket everywhere on the field, like that, to me, then he becomes a big problem to deal with.
No doubt. It's really, I'm excited to see both of these games with these teams. And I think they both have a real chance Jared says Vols fans have got to be livid hearing this. I'm like, what? You talking about Vandy playoff possibilities? Why are Vols fans livid about talking about Vanderbilt playoff possibilities this early in the season? Why would that make you livid? Brandon, who hates Glenn Ellerby, although might have to admit that Glenn Ellerby's doing some all right things, says Candy is going winless in October. Is that the Vols fans' preference to rip on Vanderbilt? Call him Candy?
I've seen that. I've seen
I
that.
don't know about that one. Candy?
Yeah, you come up with something better.
Yeah. Vols fans shouldn't be livid. Vols fans, we should all be excited about what if like the Vanderbilt Tennessee game actually like has stakes, like high stakes.
That'd be awesome.
Can you imagine that?
Yeah. I mean, no, I can't imagine that. So like it would be
right.
It would be awesome. Like I would very much enjoy it.
Please.
615-737-1025 is our phone number. 615-737-1025. That's Vanderbilt, South Carolina. What about Tennessee and Georgia? We will get into that matchup coming next. Who is going to be important beyond the quarterback position if Tennessee is going to pull off the upset? We'll get into that. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. This Sunday, catch the Eagles taking on the Chiefs for the NFL Game of the Week on 102.5 The Game at 3:25. NFL Game of the Week presented by Circa Sportsbook Kentucky and Macero in 12 South. Taking your thoughts at 615-737-1025. We'll have the Rex Rant with Joe Rexrode coming up later this hour at 7:45. Eric Kane from VolQuest will be with us at 7:30, looking to the matchup between Tennessee and Georgia. Joe, we know Gunnar Stockton, the way that he plays, Joey Aguilar, the way that he plays at the quarterback position, going to be vital in determining the outcome tomorrow at Neyland Stadium. What about beyond the quarterback? As you're looking at Tennessee, if they're going to pull off the upset against Georgia and take down Kirby Smart for the first time since 2016, who are some guys that you're looking at that are going to play key roles, going to have to play key roles in making that happen tomorrow at Neyland Stadium?
I'm just going to rip off my story in The Athletic and tell you that Colton Hood would be one of my guys.
I would agree.
Now, Colton Hood, again, you can go Ty Redmond too. They've looked good. And what have they actually seen? What have they encountered? I think this Georgia receiving core is maybe the best. Zach Branch obviously is a difference maker. He is a freak in the slop. Noah Thomas, Colby Young. I mean, they've got guys, and this is obviously a terrible game to be missing your starting corners, both of them.
Yeah,
I mean, could you just have one of them? But Ricky Gibson gets hurt, and of course, Jerron McCoy coming back from the ACL. Can those guys be solid and not? It's like not give up the big shot, but also not give up. Not give up the easy access stuff all day long because they're so worried about giving the big shot. I mean, some of this is, is coaching, is how you're gonna approach this game if you're Tennessee. But he's a huge guy. Now I'm looking forward to asking Eric Kane about what we've been talking about a little bit, which is David Sanders.
Yep.
Is he playing? Is he not playing? But I'm saying Jesse Perry. Even if Sanders gets out there, it's just hard for me to believe it's going to be like, boom, get out there and you're starting and you're going. And so Jesse Perry has been a revelation. He's had to bump outside. He's obviously a very promising redshirt freshman who's going to be a starter for this team all year somewhere. And ideally at right guard with Sanders at right tackle. But to me, it's probably going to be Perry at tackle. So again, Pro Football Focus is number one tackle.
Yep.
Against ETSU. Can he
high grade?
Yes. How can he hold up against these guys? And then I think you can pick any of these receivers. Like you said, Matthews. I mean, Brazel's been really good. 14 for 187 and 2 for Brazel so far. I mean, to me, both of those guys have to, on the outside, have to win and make some plays and get the ball when they do win, which has been a huge problem for Tennessee. Are we going to talk about Brazel and or Matthews producing and having decent production at the end of the day? It's just outside receivers for Tennessee have done nothing against Georgia in these matchups.
I think Mike Matthews is my number one on this list. Like I think this is the type of game that you recruit him for, right? It's a 5-star wide receiver, got a lot of talent. We saw him make a great play last week against ETSU. It's ETSU. This is Georgia. So it's a wild swing, and you're going up against some really good defensive players. So can you put your stamp on this game? As you brought up, I mean, Tennessee's outside receivers have done basically nothing against Georgia in this matchup. So you're going to get some one-on-one opportunities if you're Mike Matthews. Can you win them? You don't have to win all of them, but can you win enough of them in that game tomorrow? I think T is number one on the list for me. 2, I would go Colton Hood. I'm with you there. Like, there's just so much importance on him. Like, I thought about Boo Carter. He's going to have to play well in this game in the slot. Like, they need him to be his best version, focused, all those things. I think he's going to be important in the return game as well. My number 3 guy is Josh Josephs. Josephs, I think, is their best rusher to get after the quarterback. It's another thing that Tennessee was probably the most disappointing part of the matchup last year. Tennessee's defensive front was really good last year. James Pierce goes in the first round. They had a lot of guys. I mean, they were deep on their front. And their front did not get after Carson Beck at all last year. Like, he had all the time in the world
it was
to throw
shocking,
the ball.
actually.
So, like, can Joshua Josephs put some pressure on Gunnar Stockton in this game. And it doesn't have to be just him, but I do think he's their best guy. So that's why I'm going with him as my number 3 guy. I mean, Beck had all day to sit back there and throw last year. If Stockton has all day to throw tomorrow, Tennessee will not win. Like they've got to put some pressure on Stockton, force him to get off his spot, and see if you can bait him into some mistakes that way.
Yeah, that's the weird thing about last year is Georgia's offensive line had been such a problem. Their offense had been a problem. Tennessee's up early, and it's like, and you look up at the end, and Carson Beck's thrown for like 350 and was never touched.
Yeah.
Like that was the one thing going into the game. Like that's the whole key to the game is wreck the game with your front. Didn't do it. It was still in the game despite that. Even though it ends up being 31-17, that was not that to me was the most competitive of the Kirby Smart, Josh Heupel games. Even more so than the number one versus number one.
Yeah, that game was not competitive. Yeah,
that game was less competitive than 27-13 suggests.
Yeah, I mean, last year's game was a good game. And then, Georgia pulled away kind of at the end of it. But it was a good game last year. But it was a good game despite the fact that Tennessee could not get after the quarterback at all. So I just think that that's really important tomorrow. I mean, look, you can get down. There's a lot of matchups in this game that are going to be really interesting. Like, can Tennessee actually run the ball in this game? Are they going to be able to block up Georgia well enough where with their offense they can run the ball? Because I think if you can run the ball against Georgia, they're going to leave you one-on-one on the outside. We know that. And Tennessee's been able to do nothing about it with their receivers. That's why Matthews to me is crucial in this game. If he can win some of that, I think that opens up Tennessee's offense against Georgia. So there's a lot about this matchup that's really interesting. This is a big litmus test to see where Tennessee's roster actually is, even beyond the quarterback part of it.
Brandon says UGA's offense was so bad last year that 3 of those guys are in the NFL. More than Ellerby has put in the league in 5 years. Let's bring it back to Glenn Ellerby.
Yeah,
it is. And that is true, and that's a weird thing. It's like, I mean, even if Georgia's like playing poorly, like they're still like NFL dudes.
Yep.
All over the place. Yeah, and they're going to pressure, and they pressure. I think they pressure. I was going to, it's like you can look at other teams and be like, why don't you do what Georgia does? The problem is because they don't have the guys. They don't have the guys to do that, but they blitz like crazy against this, again, right around 50% pressure rate basically for the 4 games. And other teams, don't do it, especially when like the Vols were good in 22. Like it was like, no, I mean, they had everybody in a bind, and Georgia was like, yeah, okay, we'll just kick your butt with every matchup we have.
Well, and how much different is the game plan from Josh Heupel maybe in years past to Georgia? Like, I would have to think in the offseason as a staff, they've been trying to sit around and be like, God, we have not gotten anything done against Georgia. So how can we attack them maybe a little bit differently than what they're expecting?
Yeah. And then you have this, we just lost our quarterback.
Right.
That's a huge part of your offseason. It's been interesting seeing some of that too. I know On3 had a story. We talked about Ubben's story, the sort of like, we're fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
But that's another thing we're going to find out about, right? I mean, Aguilar, it's a great story. And he legitimately looks good. And it's also really easy to root for him, when you hear him talk. This is just such a different deal.
It's a big test.
And especially, I just look at someone who threw 14 picks. And I don't know. Every interception has a story. I don't know the stories of those. I don't care to go back and look at it, but I do look at that and say, man, is Georgia looking at him saying, we might be able to get this guy a time or two? That could be the thing that swings the game.
We'll have Eric Kane from VolQuest with us coming up next. Get his thoughts on the Tennessee and Georgia matchup. The Rex Rant with Joe Rexrode coming up at 7:45. All that ahead. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode. Robbie Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Ian Safar here with you on this Friday morning. Massive game tomorrow in Knoxville. The Vols taking on the Georgia Bulldogs. And to help us talk more about that, we head to our 102.5 The Game phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. And welcome in Eric Kane from VolQuest.com and the Locked On Vols Daily Podcast. Eric, good morning, brother. How are we doing?
I'm good. Appreciate you having me on.
Appreciate you taking time to be with us. So, Eric, I think you would agree that one of the big question marks for Tennessee heading into the year was wide receiver. What exactly were they going to look like? You know, Mike Matthews, Braylon Staley, Chris Brazzell, the three main guys. I think they've looked pretty good in the first two games. Now, granted, it's Syracuse and ETSU. We're going to find out a lot tomorrow. But what do you make of what you've seen from them to this point, and what are your expectations for them in terms of their ability to win tomorrow against Georgia, those one-on-one matchups that we know they're going to get?
Yeah, it's one of the key matchups I'm looking at in this game, right? Kirby Smart, obviously a great defensive coach, former safety, former defensive back himself. He has those cornerbacks on lockdown, and they did that press man coverage on Tennessee in years past during this matchup, and really they just bullied Tennessee's wide receivers, and they Tennessee has not been able to get off the line of scrimmage consecutively, get clean breaks off the line of scrimmage, and so I think that's a real key in this matchup. Mike Matthews, Braylon Staley. In the slot, more so Mike Matthews and Chris Brazzell, they're going to have to win those matchups more off the line of scrimmage when those guys are down there in press man coverage. So, so far in the year, man, I think it's been fine. There was a couple of drops, probably too many drops that I'd like to see through 2 weeks, but so far so good. It's not a very big rotation. I think Tennessee plays a ton of 12 personnel, and so that's kind of a reason for that. But I like the makeup and the high-end upside of this room with Mike Matthews and a guy like Braylon Staley for sure. Just a lot of, kind of unproven right now, but a lot of talent.
So are you surprised, Eric, by Joey Aguilar? I know, it's Syracuse and it's ETSU, but he just seems to have a really good command of the offense. Obviously, he's producing. He seems confident. The teammates seem to be rallying around him. This is a quick fix situation, and it looks like it's a really good fit. How does this compare to what you thought we'd be seeing at this point?
Yeah, I mean, he's been a little bit better than I thought he'd be. And again, competition aside, the reasons you pointed out, I mean, you can tell he's a veteran. He's played a lot of football. He takes what the defense gives him. I love that he uses his legs. He's escaped some pressure with his legs. They've called some design runs. Tennessee's hit on a couple of deep balls. He's looked good. And, the defense that Georgia's going to put out there tomorrow, this will be the steepest hill that he's ever going to have to climb. And so I'm intrigued. I'm really excited to see kind of how he deals with the adversity that he's going to face. He's going to face some adversity. Georgia's defense is really solid, as it always is. And so I'm intrigued to see what that looks like. But no, I think he's done a really good job. You can just tell that he's played a ton of football, maybe not at this level, but again, he kind of lets the game come to him, and he plays a little bit of confidence. And I think for him, the biggest thing was just getting his tempo down. Once, because he got the playbook down, even though he only got here in May. He went through the install period probably about 2 or 3 times, once on his own, once in summer, and then once in fall camp. It was just managing the tempo. Once he got the tempo down in fall camp, I think the rest just kind of came, easy to him, and was able a big reason for him to get that job and get off to a good start so far. So a good start for him. I'm intrigued to see what Saturday looks like, but I have been pleasantly surprised.
So, Eric, I mean, obviously, this is a game where you'd love to have at least one, if not both, of Jermod McCoy and Ricky Gibson. They don't, so it is what it is. How equipped do you think they are with Colton Hood and Ty Redmond and Boo Carter and the rest of that crew to handle what Georgia's going to throw their way tomorrow without those two guys?
Yeah, you definitely want your All-American cornerback in this game, and a guy who I think is good enough to be in the NFL in Ricky Gibson, not after this year, but eventually. But Tennessee's got to roll with the punches, and how big of an addition was Colton Hood, right? I mean, you got Joey Aguilar in the spring window because you had to, but went out there and got a body at corner that turned into, this guy's just a little bit more than a body. This guy can play. He's going to play for us, to, oh, man, he's really going to play for us. And he's a veteran, too, and you can tell he's not afraid to, he doesn't back away from anything, that being Colton Hood. So I've been really, really impressed with Colton Hood. On the other side, Ty Redmond, he talk about emergence, right? I mean, he was ranked like number 85 in the state of Georgia. He was a lowly rated 3-star. And then, Tennessee, he was one of Tennessee's first commits, and Tennessee liked him, evaluated him, got him to campus. He kept hearing his name in spring, kept hearing his name in summer, and then he's out there balling out right now. He's athletic. He's long. He's everything you want in a corner. Now, again, he's about to see the biggest challenge he's ever seen in his life on a football field. I'm intrigued to see how those two guys respond to that. You got Jalen McMurray, who's the starting star right now, but was the third corner last year, and I think that he's going to play a lot of corner tomorrow with Boo Carter back there at the star position. So not ideal, but it could certainly be a whole lot worse if you're Tennessee. I think they got some guys who can play, but that depth, as the season goes along, that depth might turn into being something concerning.
Yeah, that Redmond, like that's the kind of success story I feel like this program needs at that position. And of course, Eric, they need more success stories of homegrown players that they evaluate well and develop at offensive line. And I think we've got one we're seeing now in Jesse Perry. But my question is, well, first of all, is David Sanders playing? If you can tell us, that'd be great. But if he is available, if he's able to go, do you think that he'll play significantly, or are they better off because Perry has played so well at right tackle to just kind of roll with what they've been doing?
It's a really good question. Right now, I don't know if David Sanders is going to play. I think that'll be a game time decision. They evaluate him later today. I think it's been close each of the first 2 weeks. I think he's done some things at practice this week. I don't know if he's done everything. So I guess we'll just have to kind of wait and see on that one. Now, if he is available, I would play him. I wouldn't start him. And people might say, well, that doesn't make much sense, right? Well, I mean, think about what your offensive line's done the first 2 weeks. I know competition aside is what it is, but I mean, this offensive line's gelled together pretty well. He would certainly play, and he's eventually going to be back in that starting lineup because he's one of the best five. But I'm not sure that I would be comfortable with, snap one, game one of your college career after you've missed pretty much all of practice this week, right? Like, I think it'd be different if he was practicing full go, ready to roll on Tuesday through the week. I think it's a different story. And to my knowledge, that's not really been the case. So I would play him in spots, but I would roll with what Tennessee has had these first 2 weeks. And, say Tennessee's given up some pressures on the interior. Remember, Jesse Perry, he was going to be the starting right guard. He's been the starting right tackle the first 2 weeks. So say there's a lot of interior pressure and it say Sanders is available. Okay, maybe bump Perry back down inside the guard, bring Sanders in, see what you got. It just gives Tennessee another option. Eventually, David Sanders is going to be the right tackle. And he's gone against Tennessee's defensive line in front seven all spring, all fall camp. It's not one of those things where like, oh, it's Georgia, don't play him. It's just how much did you do in practice this week? And in a game like this, if he wasn't full go in practice, I don't think I would start him if he's available.
So, Eric, I mean, obviously, like every Tennessee fan will remember that 2022 game against Alabama forever, right? They have not had success against Georgia under Kirby Smart. Josh Heupel, it's really been the one team that he's not been able to solve. So, having said all that, if they go out there tomorrow and they're able to get this win, what does it do for this team this season? What does it do for this program overall if they can go get this win tomorrow?
Man, for the program overall, just like you said, you just continue to check those boxes, right? I mean, New Year's Six bowl game, check. College football playoff, check. Couple 10-win seasons, check. Alabama, Florida, check. Now you can check off that Georgia box because that is really the only team that Josh Heupel has not tackled yet. For this current team for the season, that gives you that signature win. I mean, Tennessee got to the playoff last year, obviously off a great defense, good run game, but because they beat Alabama. And, ESPN and the College Football Playoff Committee tried to will Alabama into the College Football Playoff even after that late season loss to Oklahoma. But that was Tennessee's signature win. You get this win over Georgia in week 3 of the season. I'm not saying you have to be perfect the rest of the way, but if you drop a game or two, you have that card to say, hey, I beat Georgia. That's my signature win. And that's a very good signature win because I think Georgia's going to turn in to the team that we think they are. Maybe they're not as dominant as years past, but still a very good football team. This would just be – it's a great opportunity for both sides on Saturday. And I think it's great that Tennessee is getting Georgia at home week 3. Because I think just like Tennessee, I think Georgia is very much trying to figure some things out on the offensive end. And I've kind of been saying it all offseason. Can Tennessee steal one at home early on? I think if you run the football, you get after Gunnar Stockton, who I don't know if you guys have heard this yet, but hey, he's making his first true road start of his career.
You don't say.
I think Tennessee can obviously feed into that, get after him, and then let Neyland Stadium take over. I just think it's a great opportunity for a signature win that can really kind of follow you to the CFP potentially here in week 3.
That reminds me. Is Ryan Williams 17 or 18?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Okay, I got to
I think he's 18
Okay,
now.
there we go.
18
There we
now.
go. 18 now. That's right. No, I totally agree with you, Eric. I think it's. I love the timing for Tennessee. I think it's a chance to steal this game for sure. Is there something? Because look, Tennessee's offense and the last couple of years they haven't been great, but they were great 3 years ago, and it's been consistent the whole time. I mean, they have no explosive pass plays, like you said earlier. They're losing on the outside. Is there, and the offense is like it's going to do what it does, but is there a curveball, an adjustment, a change that Josh Heupel and Joey Halsley can do here that might change the math a little bit against that defense?
We saw it a little bit last year, and I think it's the 12 personnel that Tennessee puts out there. Now, the passing, the explosiveness in the air didn't follow last year, and I think a lot of that was because they couldn't protect Nico. He was sacked 6 times. It wasn't all on him or all on the offensive line. I think he held on to the football a little bit too long, but he was sacked 6 times nonetheless. But Tennessee implemented 12 personnel last year, and they ran it a ton in that game. And Tennessee outrushed Georgia. Tennessee had about 160 yards on the ground, and it wasn't one of those 160 yards with a 75-yard run from Jalen Wright like the year before on the very first play of the game. It was, Dylan Sampson earned all that, right? And so I think the 12 personnel is kind of an equalizer here. It causes more guys to be in the box for Tennessee. And then what can you do off that 12 personnel? We've already seen a couple of different wrinkles with some motions, with some different route combinations from that 12 personnel that I've liked to have seen. So maybe that can translate over into this Georgia game. I know Georgia's breaking in a new safety. Malachi Starks is no longer there. KJ Bolden's a good player, but breaking in a new safety. I know fans aren't too thrilled about the nickelback position right now. So I think middle of the field where Georgia drilled Tennessee in all these matchups, middle of the field defensively, I think Tennessee, there's an opportunity in the passing game up those seams in the middle of the field out of 12 personnel.
Well, Eric, it's going to be awesome. We're looking forward to it tomorrow. Appreciate so much you taking time to be with us this morning, and we will talk to you soon, my friend.
Sounds great, guys. Thanks so much.
Yep, Eric Kane, our guest from VolQuest.com. Tennessee taking on Georgia tomorrow at Neyland Stadium. The Rex Rant with Joe Rexrode coming up next. We've got TD at 8 o'clock to look ahead to the Titans and the Rams. Pigskin Pick'em coming up at 8:30. All that ahead, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game.
Sometimes he wakes up on the wrong side of the bed. And sometimes he's just, well, Joe.
Awkward moment. Let's do it.
This is the Rex Rant, now on Robby and Rexrode.
Hold the line, Big Joe. Low T Titans is good. I prefer the Love Ya Poos.
The bigger the cushion, the sweeter the pushing. That's what I said. The looser the waistband, the deeper the quicksand. Or so I have read. My baby fits me like a flesh tuxedo. I'd like to sink her with my pink torpedo. Big bottom, big bottom.
Oh my God. My ass is burning.
Talk about bum cakes, my girl's got 'em. Big bottom, drive me out of my mind. How would I leave this behind?
Shirts off.
Sex bomb woman, I'm gonna pour you down. Sex bomb woman, I'm ready to pour you down. Sex bomb woman, now see my follow right.
And I do think this offensive line is built to pound.
What's up? This is Scott Stapp from Creed, and you're listening to Robby and Rexrode.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you had to bring it back to Creed.
Why would you not?
Just to make me angry.
Why would you not? With that beautiful backdrop in the background. The Rex Rant brought to you by Functional Medicine of Tennessee. Rise up to better health. Check them out at functionalmedicineoftennessee.net.
I don't have nearly enough time to make this message clear for people. But first of all, if you heard those beautiful songs playing, that was the song by Spinal Tap, Big Bottom, and also the song Sex Farm, which, as bassist Derek Smalls says in the movie, this is Spinal Tap, you know, it's a sophisticated song about sex on a farm. If you haven't seen the movie This is Spinal Tap, first of all, you're far from alone. But I'm just here to tell you, you can go through the list of the highest I have this list, the highest grossing comedies of all time. And of course, this list has like some stuff on here that like I can't even believe would be considered a comedy. Like Barbie? We're considering Barbie and the 1.5 billion gross a comedy. Is that a comedy?
That's comedy.
All right, yeah, whatever. Go through all of them. Name all your favorite comedies. All the stuff from the 80s, you know, go Animal House, Fast Times, Caddyshack, Beverly Hills Cop, Ghostbusters, Something About Mary, Dumb and Dumber. I love all of them. All the Sandler. I love all of them. They're all great. This is funnier than all of them. And I'm telling you this now because the sequel comes out today. I'm a little bit
Aren't you
concerned.
scared?
Yeah, a little bit. But again, it's kind of like, you know, like I thought Happy Gilmore sequel was fine. I got some laughs out of it. If it was, and some people thought it was trash. If you thought it was trash and you love Happy Gilmore, did it ruin Happy Gilmore for you? Like The Godfather 1 and 2, I think are probably the best two movies ever made. Godfather 3 is pretty bad. Doesn't ruin 1 and 2. But yes, I am still, it's like, what? I hope you guys didn't just do this to, well, frankly, like some rock bands are like, hey, we need some money. Let's go tour.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm a little concerned, but look, nothing changes. This is Spinal Tap. So if you didn't know those songs when they were played, that's just a glimpse, okay? I'll tell you the backstory on this. This is the first we have in popular media. We have The Office. We have all these fake documentaries, right? Like it's just we're all used to this now. What's the elementary school one? Abbott Elementary.
I think that is correct.
They're everywhere. Movies and these guys ended up making a bunch of. If you've ever seen Best in Show and some of those movies,
Best in Show is very good.
Yeah, this
great.
is the same people, but this came out in 1984. And so when they screened this, people watched it like, why did you make a documentary about some crappy band I've never heard of? Like they were going to these like, no, it's not an actual documentary. It's a mockumentary. Right. People didn't get it. This movie grossed $5 million. Now, since then, it's become this cult. It's one of those cult classics. I swear to you, I put my entire reputation on this. You will laugh your ass off start to finish of this movie. Watch This Is Spinal Tap. I beg of you to watch This Is Spinal Tap. It is, I mean, especially if you love rock and roll. I mean, it is the ultimate satire of the entire world of rock and roll. And I've watched the movie. You know, a lot of those movies I just mentioned. Coming to America, I've watched 30 times or whatever, right? Like you can go up and down all the comedy.
Sure.
Big comedy fan. I mean, I've watched this movie definitely north of 20 times. I have never watched it and not laughed. It's almost embarrassing to keep laughing at the same jokes, but that's how good they are. Please trust me. I know that there's going to be some people on the text line who are like, yes, someone texting, I can't hear you, Joe. One louder. Well, it goes to 11. Well, why don't you just make 10 louder and then you're just louder? No, but it goes to 11.
Look how happy he is.
I mean, it's the greatest movie. I swear, it's the greatest comedy. I want you, please watch This Is Spinal Tap and then watch the sequel, and I'll watch the sequel. And if I wasn't busy tonight, I'd probably go to the theater and sit there and, nervously watch it. I'll watch it soon.
Okay.
Just this is my gift to you, to all of you. Now I got people sending me lyrics to Big Bottom. How can I leave this behind? It's an internal question, really. They had an album called Shark Sandwich. It was a 2-word review. Bleep sandwich. Well, that's not real. No, okay. It was actually a review of Shark Sandwich.
He's been so excited to do this all week.
I mean, I could do a podcast just about This Is Spinal Tap, but it's still stunning to me how many people haven't. Like a lot of people have, but how many people haven't seen it?
I've not seen it.
Yeah, and I didn't lead you wrong with Office Space.
You did not. It was good,
right?
Yeah.
Trust me. Please do this for me. Thank you.
I've seen some articles written about this, and through that discovered that there's also apparently going to be a Spaceballs 2 that is getting made.
Right.
Which I don't know how to feel about that either. Like sometimes I'm like, hey, can we just leave some of this stuff alone? But I'll probably watch it. Spaceballs 2. So we got a lot of things from the 80s coming back.
Yeah. I guess we're kind of in I know it's like Hollywood can't come up with any new ideas. So it's like, hey, let's reboot this and do this TV show. But the long awaited decades later sequels is kind of a thing, huh?
Yeah.
Apparently so. Not sure if that's good or bad.
I mean, when did Spaceballs come out? 87. So yeah.
My heart is full with all the people in the text line who know these movies and love them.
615-737-1025.
Their drummer died. They keep losing drummers. They keep dying. The official explanation was that he choked on his own vomit.
We've lost Rexrode. We'll have Teron Davenport coming up next, getting to the Titans and the Rams with him. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game.
ESPN's Turon Davenport, Talking Titans, now on Robby and Rexrode on ESPN, 102.5 The Game, and the Game Nashville app.
It's the Titans and the Rams coming up week 2 in the NFL, the home opener for the Titans. And to help us talk more about that, we head to our 102.5 The Game phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. And welcome in our friend Turon Davenport, ESPN NFL Nation Titans reporter, presented by Bart Durham Injury Law. TD, good morning. How are you?
Hey, good morning. What's going on?
All right, man. Appreciate you taking time to be with us. So, TD, obviously, not good news for the Titans in terms of J.C. Latham not being able to play in this game. So, what do you make of, number one, the impact that could have on the Titans? And number two, if you're Brian Callahan, what's your game plan to try to offset that as best as possible in this matchup?
Yeah, well, when Latham came out of the game last week, the very next snap was the one where Cam Ward got sacked. So 12 sacks with Ali Udo, or 12 snaps, 1 sack. That's not good. So probably have to do, more chipping and having Pollard up there helping protect and, those types of things, maybe some sprint outs. And I would imagine Jared Verse is going to line up on the left side. The defense is left, offense is right. A lot more now, to try to find that mismatch.
What is your, after looking at it, TD, evaluation of Dan Moore and his first performance for the Titans?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't good. And, the whole idea that Nick Bonito got paid a lot of money to do what he does it wouldn't fly with me, because Dan Moore got paid a lot to do some things too, and it didn't happen. So, I mean, I think, obviously it's the first game, so you could hang your hat on that, but it's going to have to get better, that's for sure.
TD, not much from Tyler Lockett in that first game. How much different do you think that will look in game number 2? And do you think the Titans will make it an emphasis to get him the ball quickly on some of those easy access throws?
Yeah, I think those easy access throws are going to come just as a way to help. The quick passing game is another form of pass protection. So I think you'll see that. You'll see him work out of the slot, and they like to run that swing route with them. So I would imagine they'll do that, and it's going to be needed.
So TD, the defensive performance in the first week, I thought it was overall good. Obviously, you're taking the ball away, which is something they talked about. They weren't able to do a lot last year or enough last year. I thought Simmons was really good. Obviously, he had the mistake late, but I thought he was really good. What about the defensive performance stood out to you? Maybe surprised you even compared to what you thought might happen?
Yeah, I think they got a better pass rush than I thought they would have. Simmons did really well. Femi Oladejo was able to get pressure at times too, and I think Sebastian Joseph Day had a good game too. So I think when you look at that, the pass rush was better. I think the thing that surprised me the most was the turnovers, though. I would not have expected them to generate 3 turnovers. That's for sure. But 2 of them interceptions, you got the strip sack, and there you go.
So TD, obviously Brian Callahan is in need of a lot of things. We were talking about this quote from Dan Orlovsky earlier in the show about basically if you don't have a difference maker as a play caller in today's NFL, you're not going to survive as a team. Callahan's got a lot of things going on that need to improve as he moves forward here. But from a play calling standpoint, like how desperately in need is he for just one of those games where you look at it and you get to the end of it and you say, you know what? That's a heck of a job by Brian Callahan against that defense.
Yeah, I think he's in dire need of that. I mean, can you tell me the last time you've seen that?
No, I don't know if I can tell you a single time I've seen it.
Right. So we're talking, now 18 games, and you can't say, hey, he's got somewhat of a masterpiece. So, and this is a guy who was brought in here because of his offensive acumen. So definitely very desperate for that. I don't know if it comes this week because you got a pretty good guy on the other side that is going to probably draw all the attention. So at some point it is going to be necessary because, they have to see something.
So TD, staying on Callahan, obviously the not challenging, not knowing the rule, saying he misinterpreted, then saying he knew the rule, he just misspoke. Well, all that stuff. Of course, that turns into us here screaming for days about it. But what is the What is the impact of that? One, on the locker room, on the guys playing for him, and two, on the front office. I mean, what is something like this? It becomes an NFL story. It doesn't have to, it doesn't have to linger all year. But I mean, it is something that I have not seen many instances of coaches just flat out not knowing rules that you should know. Does this have a significant impact on those two areas, or is that overblown?
I think that's tough. I think it's definitely not good. Like if I'm a player in that locker room, I'm like, damn, my coach didn't know the rules. What's up with that? You know what I mean? It definitely doesn't help. And at this point, he needs that staff. They need everything positive that they could get, especially the offensive staff. I'll put it that way. So it's not good from that perspective. And for sure, like if I'm Mike Berganzi, Chad Brinker, like I'm looking at that, like, all right, how does that happen? You know what I mean? So it's not good in any way. I don't think it's damning, but it definitely is something that could, make eyebrows raise. And this guy he's constantly being, analyzed and critiqued, and you can't afford to slip up like that.
TD, how surprised were you, I guess, for what Calvin Ridley did, or maybe better didn't do in game one, and how much of a rebound are you expecting from him on Sunday?
I mean, I was surprised that he had the drops. I mean, there were a few times during camp where he dropped the football, but for the most part, he had a really good camp. So I would say I was surprised by that. Just also being as though he had such an emphasis on being good for Cam Ward. So,
right.
Yeah, that definitely surprised me. I think he bounces back. I don't know about bounces back in a big way because, I mean, it looked like Jared Verse, Braden Fitz, these guys could get after it, and not having Latham is going to hurt. So I don't know how much they'll be able to get in the passing game and all that, but he definitely has to be involved, and, he needs a bounce back game.
Where do you think it goes from here, TD, with L'Jarius Sneed, who obviously had the pitch count and used it up early? And is there a case to be made to, I guess, save some pitches? If you're in a close game in the fourth quarter, maybe almost like here comes the secret weapon, or is it just like whatever the pitch count is, get out there, play, and then we'll move on?
I think if they could spread it out a little bit better, that'll help. I mean, I get what they're doing. They're trying to make sure that soft tissue injury doesn't come, for a guy that's working his way back after not being on the field for quite some time. So if they could increase that 20 to maybe 30 to 40, that's progress. I know Sneed said he wants to play. Like, he just wants to go out there. He's going to speak today. He's kind of become a Friday guy as opposed to being available all week. But, I mean, just in passing, he said that he wants to play more. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, like with the soft tissue thing, it's like, I don't know this, it's like, obviously you have extensive warm-ups going into a game, and so then you're as warmed up as you're going to be. So I guess it makes sense that that's when you start playing. Is it possible to just start later, or is it because you're so detached from those pregame warm-ups that makes it a little more likely you're going to have a pull?
Yeah, no, that's tough. Like, I mean, if you go out there and you warm up and then you don't do anything for a while, you got to go warm up again. So I think they're going about it the right way as far as when they're starting it, letting play from the start. But they have to, if they could spread it out a little better, that would help. Or at least a very detailed conversation with him so he understands what's happening, because apparently he didn't know that he wasn't going to play after the first half. So that's a flaw. It's a void of communication, and you got to have that.
All right, TD, there hasn't been a whole lot of positive around here the last couple of years. I'll throw one at you here. All right. Think about the special teams for the first 2 weeks last year and special teams that we saw on Sunday in Denver. Night and day, baby. John Fossil's coaching them up out there, TD.
Yeah, the energy that he brings, the attention to detail. DK, his run was perfect, man.
Yeah.
Like, you get it and you press it to the one side and then you bounce it back and you let the speed pull you away. Now, he didn't have the long speed to take it all the way to the house, but still, 71 yards is quite a return. And then, you got to shout out I keep calling him his dad. You got to shout out Van Jefferson, because, I mean, this is a guy, he came in, he was starting at X initially, and he got bumped out of that position, but he's not too proud to be on special teams, and he went down there, he was the gunner, and he was right there in Marvin Mims Jr.'s his face. And, it's a muff punt, and good job by Mousy being able to recover, and they got the ball in really good plus territory. So that's something you hadn't seen. I mean, that return, to put in perspective, that was the longest since 2018 when, they had the return there. Darius, I forget his last name, but he was the returner back then. So, yeah, it was big time.
Darius Jennings?
Darius Jennings. That's exactly what it is.
There you go.
All right, well, let me make it negative. I got to take it back negative here for the end
good.
here. So let's go to that sequence, TD, after that play, because that's the kind of play that should maybe be the key play you look back on in a win, and we know what happened on the next two plays. So after reviewing those two plays, you put that more on Cam, the O-line, the play calling, and you just obviously can't have two plays like that and fall out of field goal range. How do you evaluate, I guess, the blame pie on those two?
Yeah, I mean, if you go back and look at the play, Jonah Ellis says he beat Ali Udo, and he got to the quarterback. Now, I mean, people and Cam himself would say get rid of the ball, but it's he's inside the tackles. Everybody's covered. What can he do? Maybe airmail it into the goalpost or something, but there really wasn't much of a situation for him to win. So that's a tough one. I put it on the O-line.
There we go. Well, TD, hopefully they hold up a little bit better this weekend. I have my doubts, but hopefully they do this weekend against the Rams. We're looking forward to the game. Appreciate so much you joining us as always, and we'll talk to you next week, my friend.
All right, for sure. Appreciate it. Take it easy.
Yep, Teron Davenport presented by Bart Durham Injury Law. We'll react to what TD had to say coming up next as well. If you're heading to the game this Sunday, be sure to stop by John Bon Jovi's before the Titans take on the Rams for the 102.5 The Game pregame show. Big Joe, Derek Mason, and Chris Sanders from 9:30 to 11:30. Pregame show brought to you by Parman Tractor and Equipment, Old National Bank, Circa Sportsbook Kentucky, and Tennessee Brew Works. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Tomorrow, the MTSU Blue Raiders taking on Nevada at 4 o'clock. Coverage, or you can catch all the action on Totally Hits 93.3. Coverage also available on the Totally Hits Nashville app and at TotallyHitsNashville.com. Vandy taking on South Carolina tomorrow. Pregame at 5 o'clock on 102.5 The Game. And kickoff at 6:45. Vanderbilt football brought to you by Gary Force Acura, Jimmy Kelly's Steakhouse, and Smoky Mountain Tops. Appreciate TD for being with us in the last segment there. TD did not sound very confident that the Titans are going to be able to overcome the loss of J.C. Latham. It's like, yeah, it could be bad.
TD did not generally fill me with optimism about the weekend.
No. I can't say I disagree with him.
No, I can't say it's possible to find a lot of optimism for the Titans this weekend.
No. And now you have J.C. Latham not playing in the game. I'm interested to see how they handle that in terms of deployment. Like, is it just going to be Udo out there the whole time? Do they switch that up? Like, I'm interested to see how that goes. Either way, it's probably not going to go well at right tackle with regardless of who they put in there. So that's, I mean, I think you kind of have to know that if you're Brian Callahan heading into this game. But we talked earlier, Joe, like it's time for the Bill Callahan influence here to show itself at some point, right? Like
The Callahan combination.
yeah, like he as TD pointed out, right now you got an offensive line that really has not benefited from the Bill Callahan experience. Maybe it does at some point this year. We'll see. And you've got a play caller and a head coach. But in this, we're focusing on the play calling part of it right now, which I agree with TD. Like, has he had one game as a head coach where you've looked at it and be like, that was an absolute just master class by Brian Callahan out there?
The only game that comes to mind would be the win at Houston last year. Levis threw a pick six. They still won. I thought there were some very good drives in that game.
Yeah.
And some good moments of having them off balance. And obviously, they pulled off the upset. So, I mean, that was definitely a game where I was impressed overall.
Time for another one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Gotta have them. You don't have to have them every game. Nobody has them every game, right? But
right. And again, it's like play calling to me is not the big issue here. But what you said earlier with Orlowski, okay, but can it be a huge plus?
Can it be a weapon?
Yeah, should be. That's why you hire these coaches to do these jobs. So that's why, again, the whole he should give up play calling duties is like that's why he's here. It's quarterback and it's play calling. It's offensive guy, and this is his baby. Yes, Nick Sirianni. Some examples of guys doing that, but it's a very, very different situation than this. Yeah, it's time for him to make a difference and for us to be talking about coaching making a difference in a win that you didn't expect.
Yeah.
And Bill Callahan, I mean, who's gotten better? Who's gotten, like we talked earlier, like his evaluation of some guys has not been good. And Nicholas Petit-Frere,
not good.
He's out of the league right now.
And I know he didn't draft him, and he wasn't there.
Terrible. Right, but
he did choose to play him, right?
Right. They could have done different things. He looked at the film. They said, yeah, I can work with this guy, which, again, I thought I'm second guessing this. I'm not first guessing. It totally made sense to me, but it was terrible. So who's gotten better under Bill Callahan? I mean, I would say that Skoronski is better. He got better late last year. I thought he looked pretty good. I haven't seen the PFF grades. He's probably their best offensive lineman in week one, right?
Yeah.
So there's him. And then I expected Latham to be better. Now we have no idea. I mean, here we are with Latham. And that, again, that's nobody's fault. But, yeah, let's see a little more and see something different than, oh, my God, they just can't block anybody.
Yeah. I mean, it would be nice to see that at some point. Let's head to our 102.5 The Game phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Welcome in Jared in Spring Hill to the program. Jared, good morning. Thank you for calling in.
Yeah, good morning. So I just want to start off about my context for what I'm going to say is that I never really wanted the Cam Ward trade, and since we did get him, I've called in saying I wish that he would sit. So that's the context. But are we getting to the point now? It seems. I mean, I've never heard TD be this defeated. Are we getting to the point of where we just need to acknowledge defeat and everything that we know about Callahan? We probably know he's not going to be here next year anyways. to just kind of put Cam Ward on the shelf. Because I feel like Jordan Love is a great example of sitting, waiting for the right opportunity to come, getting some players around him.
Jordan Love
They
had
believe
Aaron
in their
Rodgers
guy.
in front of him.
They were a
understand.
contending Super Bowl team, with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback when he sat.
So throwing Cam Ward out there to the Wolves right now is the best long-term solution. Like, I just don't think that's the guy. If they're going to buy into him, again,
Well, he's already out there. Like, they're not going to bench him
here.
now, are they?
So what do you? So
Why not?
Okay,
Why not?
well,
Why
I'll tell
not?
you why not. Because first of all, every other guy out there is getting the crap beat out of them, and now you're going to say, you know what? We're going to put Brandon Allen in at quarterback. Let's see how that goes for you. Also, we've cited many examples. Again, the guy who's playing this weekend. Go back and watch Matthew Stafford's rookie year. He was thrown to the wolves by an 0-16 team who couldn't block, couldn't catch, couldn't do crap. It was a disaster. He got hurt. Where is he now? If you're good enough,
But
you will
he's
overcome
good.
that.
I understand he's good out of Detroit. So is that the model?
He was good in
gonna be
Detroit.
that he's
Yeah,
gonna-
he took them to the playoffs 3 times. He had like 5,000-yard passing seasons in Detroit. So
Okay,
he
and I
was
also think that
great
Matthew
there.
Stafford, I mean, I understand, but Matthew Stafford's also a better prospect coming out of college than Cam Ward.
No, that's probably true. Yes.
Okay.
But and he also had Calvin Johnson. I'm sure. What was that the year before he got there? Calvin Johnson was already on the team.
I think the year after.
Yeah,
memory
the
serves
year
me.
after. Right. I understand. But
Back to
again,
back
point
to back.
being, he was thrown to the wolves. He got through. Peyton Manning was on a terrible, terrible team and threw 1,000,000 picks. Got through. Like it's not a realistic thing. First of all, these coaches are fighting for their lives. Yeah, let's put a worse quarterback in who has no chance to do anything and make sure we get fired. It's just not even like a thing.
Thank you,
know?
for Jared.
I understand. I'll talk to y'all later. Have a good weekend.
Yeah, I mean,
I feel like
we're past that.
Did I yell at Jared too much? I'm sorry.
I mean, we're
Jared.
past that point. Like, first off, they never brought in a quarterback to make that a serious thing, right? Like, if your plan was to sit Cam Ward, you don't bring in Brandon Allen. I'm sorry. Like, you had other guys out there that you could have pursued.
Yeah, sitting Cam Ward, taking play calling duos from Callahan. These aren't. They're unserious possibilities. They're not real.
Well, no, and to your point now, I mean, beyond all that, Callahan is trying to hold on to his job, and you think the solution to that for him is going to be, well, let's just not play Cam Ward, and the one opportunity that I've got to keep my job right now is for me to display that maybe I can show some progress with this kid, and we're not going to play him.
I'll just write up a TPS report to Miss Amy and say he's developing really well in practice. You should keep me.
615-737-1025 is our phone number. We'll have Pigskin Pick'em coming up next. Big games this weekend locally here in the football world. We'll get into that. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game.
Now, it's time for Pigskin Pick'em with
Sorry.
Robby and Rexrode on ESPN 1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
It is that time of the week. Pigskin Pick'em here on the program. Let me tell you, Ian Safar off to a hot start in this competition. He was 4-2 last week with his lock. I was 3-3, no lock. Rexrode 3-3 with a lock. So overall, decent week here on the program. The overall standings, Ian Safar, 9-3 through 2 weeks. 2-0 in his locks, 11 points. 6-6 for me, 0-2 on the locks, 6 points. 4-8 for Rexrode, rebounded after a very tough first week. 2-0 on his locks, 6 points as well. So Ian is up almost a full week in this competition 2 weeks in. So good start by us. Good stuff.
I mean, that cover on the Ravens. Ugh.
Look how happy he is.
You should give that back.
Yeah,
Give it
Robbie,
back.
If Robbie wants to give back UConn Syracuse, then
I don't.
When do I get one of these? When do I get one?
Well, Arch needs to figure out how to cover.
Yeah,
right.
Tough
Stop
one.
wincing.
Absolutely. All right, we begin with Georgia and Tennessee at Neyland Stadium tomorrow. Georgia, a 4.5-point favorite. It began at 7.5. It got down as low as 3.5, and now it is 4.5 on the FanDuel Sportsbook. Ian Safar, you are in first. Your selection for Georgia and Tennessee. The Bulldogs favored by 4.5.
I'm going to, so far 2-0 for me. Tennessee, sticking with it. I will take Tennessee with the plus 4.5.
Going the Vols plus the 4.5. Georgia, lock.
Wow. You're just trying to protect your orange heart, aren't you? It make you feel better if they lose.
I mean,
You don't believe this.
I do believe it. I absolutely do believe it. Georgia's going to win this game. It's not a good matchup for Tennessee until I see them do it. Can't pick them. I had them losing to Georgia before the season. I'm not changing it now. Georgia, lock, minus the 4.5. Joe Rexrode, your pick.
I mean, I almost want to make the Vols my lock, but I'll just pick the Vols. The Vols are going to win this game 23-20, which means I love the Vols plus 4.5. And I can't wait to talk about this with you on Monday.
Look, there's never a situation where I'd rather be wrong than this one right here. Ever. I think I picked Tennessee to cover against the Alabama in 2022. So, yeah, I'd really like to be wrong in this one, but I'm locking down on Georgia. Vanderbilt and South Carolina coming up in another big game tomorrow. South Carolina at home, favored by 3.5 in this matchup. Give me South Carolina. I've gone back and forth on this. I think it's going to be really close, but I got South Carolina by about 4. So I'll take South Carolina minus the 3.5 at home against Vanderbilt. Joe Rexrode, your selection.
I have the same score. South Carolina 23, Vandy 20, which means give me Vandy in the 3.5 points.
There you go. How about what if they're both the same score?
How about
That'd be
that?
something? Joe going Vanderbilt plus the 3.5. Ian Safar, Vanderbilt, South Carolina.
I am also sticking with Vandy. They have so far 2-0. Rolling. I think Clark Lee said it best earlier this week. They were not happy about the performance versus South Carolina last season.
Yep.
They had their warm-up game versus Tech. Kind of got rolling in the second half after a slow start against in the first half and the first opponent. Took a little while to ramp up. I think they're ready. I'll go Vandy.
It's WHTR
Yeah.
against WHMR, me and Ian here.
Yeah.
This is going to be interesting.
The LA Rams taking on the Tennessee Titans in their home opener. Joe Rexrode, you are up first. The Rams are favored by 5.5 in this matchup. Joseph, your thoughts?
Yeah, another almost lock, but I'll just take the Rams. Almost a lock. I'll save my lock, but boy, I like the Rams. I don't have much else to say about it. Good luck, Titans.
Ian Safar, Rams favored by 5.5 in this matchup.
I really considered locking this one as well, Joe. I am also taking the Rams minus the 5.5. Yeah, Rams.
Clean sweep it, Robbie.
Yeah, I'm going to go Rams.
Sweep the leg.
I'm going to go Rams minus the 5.5 in this matchup. I do not think this is going to go well at all for the Tennessee Titans. So we'll see what we're talking about on Monday morning.
Good times in Nashville.
Yeah, good stuff. We move to the individual portion of the program. Ian Safar, your first individual selection.
Okay, I am going to lock this one. I asked last night if I could do an over-under. Give me the Chargers versus Vegas. I got 46.5. over under, I will take the under, and I'm going to lock that down.
Wow.
Guarantee.
Look at you.
Locking
very
down.
D-Mace of you.
Locking
D-Mace.
down on a low-scoring affair between the Chargers and the Raiders.
D-Mace is a huge over-under guy.
I
I like the use of the over.
Yeah, I don't mind it at all. Good stuff.
Under lock. Okay.
Under lock against for the Chargers and the Raiders.
Score it up, boys. Come on.
Give me LSU minus 7.5 against the Florida Gators. It's loud for old Billy down there in Florida. It's going to get louder after this weekend. LSU minus the 7.5. You know, I really don't trust Brian Kelly in these games, but I think I trust him against Florida. Minus the 7.5 against the Gators. Joe Rexrode, your first individual selection.
All right. I'm all college this week, trying to get myself back into this sucker. And I'm looking at Oregon State at Texas Tech. Texas Tech's minus 23.5. Give me Texas Tech and make that my lock. I think we'll see how good they are when they start playing actual games. Oregon State, I'm not sure they're buns. They might just be a bun. Okay. And I think Texas Tech's going to win this well into the 30s.
What's worse, a singular bun or double buns?
I don't know. And if so, is it the left bun or the right bun better? I don't know. The left coast Oregon State buns
the low
are
T
going to get
buns.
crushed.
Yeah,
That's
knows?
right.
Who knows? My second pick, give me Eli Drinkwitz and Missouri minus 27.5 against Louisiana. I think they win by 28, so I'll take the minus 27.5 for the Missouri Tigers against Louisiana. Joe Rexrode, your second individual selection.
Man, you only think they're going to win by 28. You're kind of playing on the edge there a little bit.
No, I'm not going to give that guy too much credit.
Yeah, that's a good point. Okay. Give me South Alabama at Auburn. Auburn minus 24.5. I think Auburn is another kind of like Texas Tech. Now they have already won at Baylor, but I think they're one of those teams that they're feeling good. They're kind of rolling. Jackson Arnold's doing really well. I think they're running it up on people. And then we'll see when they play the really good teams in their league. But I think Auburn puts a big number on South Alabama.
So going Auburn minus the 24.5 against South Alabama. Ian Safar, your second individual selection.
Okay, I am sticking in the NFL. I will go Cincinnati Bengals hosting Jacksonville. Cincy minus 3.5 this week against the Jags. Could be a high-scoring game. Cincy a little bit disappointing versus Cleveland last week. Perhaps a bounce back. Give me Cincy minus 3.5 versus Jacksonville.
Going Bengals minus 3.5 against the Jags. Ian, kick us off with your final.
Okay, and I'm going to close this off with another over-under.
Ooh.
Give me over 42.5 Tampa Bay versus Houston.
I like that. Bucks, Texans. Over 42.5, Tampa and Houston. Another tough game for the Texans, by the way.
You're going to make us do a lot of math these weekends, Ian? You have to, like,
Maybe
two
too much.
scores together. This
Yeah.
is not easy, man.
Rexrode, your final individual selection.
Man, I got two contenders here, and I'll tell you what I'm going to do, man. Alex Golesh in South Florida, the exact same line. Last week, they were going into Florida. They were getting 17.5. I said, jump all over it, and I was right, and they won outright. I don't think they're going to win this game outright. I think Miami's too good. But getting 17.5, I think their defense is solid enough. I think their quarterback's solid enough. I think their coach is excellent. Give me South Florida and the 17.5.
South Florida plus 17.5 against Miami.
I thought about that one.
The darling of college football right now.
Yes.
Alex Golesh and company.
There are 10 million stories about Alex Golesh being born in Russia this week.
Yes.
In case you haven't checked out any.
I've seen
There were
a lot
like
of those.
a bunch of them like in 2022 when he was the OC at Tennessee. So
Yes.
let's have a new wave of them.
They are circling back around. My final selection. Give me Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills minus 6.5 against the Jets. Nice performance from the Jets last week. They hung in there with Old Man River and the Steelers, and Justin Fields played well. Justin Fields will not play well this week. Give me Buffalo by 3 touchdowns against the Jets. So I would take minus 6.5 for the Buffalo Bills. Joe, your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I like that. I mean, look, I was impressed with the Jets. I was impressed with Justin Fields. But, yeah, the Bills seem to sort of make the Jets their personal play thing usually. Probably will do so again this weekend.
Yep. Caleb on the YouTube chat, going back to my Tennessee pick, says win-win situation, Robbie. Respect it, but good God, I hope Tennessee can find a way.
That's right. One way or another, you will either have joy or you will have solace in a lock.
Yeah.
Completed.
I don't think it's going to make me any less mad.
Yeah.
But I don't have a good feeling.
I have a great feeling for the Vols.
Right.
I have a great feeling for the Vols.
I hope you're right.
Telling y'all right now.
We will wrap it up. Coming up next, we'll give our final thoughts on Tennessee, Georgia, Vanderbilt, South Carolina, the Titans home opener against the Rams. All that on the table coming up next. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game.
For fear that daybreak.
Just hold on. Just give it a minute. Just give it a second.
Too soon.
I'm just waiting on you.
Oh, God.
Whenever you're ready.
Just an absolute.
Don't mind me.
No, just what a great scene. Now, come in.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Go ahead, run the show.
Go ahead.
I
Do
guess.
your radio show. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game.
Hey, you two guys. You guys ever seen This Is Spinal Tap?
Zero chance.
Nope. Come on. I promise you will not be disappointed. Try to, the younger generations.
Yeah, I mean, you're how old are those guys back there? 25?
Yeah,
They've not
something
seen
like that.
Yeah.
Maybe even younger.
I will say, listen, the first time I saw it, it was like the late 90s. It came out in 1984. This is true of a lot of people.
Sure.
Okay? So the classics, I mean, if you've never seen Citizen Kane, see Citizen Kane. If you've never seen This Is Spinal Tap, see Spinal Tap. Same thing.
Yeah, that's
it is.
This is Spinal
Hey,
Tap.
they're both in the Library of Congress. I'm just saying.
There you go.
I'm just saying.
I got some tickets giveaway to see Judas Priest and Alice Cooper at First Bank Amphitheater coming up on Sunday, September 21st. Be the first caller. I want caller one. Caller number one will win a pair of tickets to see Judas Priest and Alice Cooper at First Bank Amphitheater on Sunday, September the 21st. Joe, you seem pretty confident that Tennessee is going to waltz into Neyland Stadium tomorrow and come away with a big program win for Josh Heupel.
And again, I don't think we picked Tennessee to win last year. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't speak too much about things I can't remember. But I don't think that we were very confident. I know that 2 years ago, when Chase and Big Joe said they were going to beat them at home, we were both like, dude, they're going to get smoked by Georgia, which they did. Hey, Chase and Big Joe, surf and turf? Dessert?
Yeah, how many courses are we talking
Yeah,
about?
can we get some, I don't know, like some bourbon,
Maybe someday
like
you
a
could be
bourbon
like
flight
me
with
and
it?
get gout.
Yeah, there we go.
Let's keep it gout
Just
friendly.
saying, I'm going to keep bringing that up. But like, this is not a
shellfish.
We're normally, yeah, please. We are normally not optimistic about Tennessee against Georgia. Now, in 2022, I think I picked Tennessee to win, but
I did not.
They were number one. Yeah, but I'm just saying, yeah. You always pick against it.
Yeah, this matchup scares me.
Yeah, it's been a bad matchup, and I'm not saying it's going to be some avalanche of touchdowns for Tennessee tomorrow. I think they're going to steal the game because I think that their defense is going to get after Gunnar Stockton. I think they're going to do a decent job against the run. Georgia has killed them over the middle of the field with the tight ends. I'm worried about linebacker coverage, no doubt. But I like how these corners have played, and that would be the reason to me to look at this. If you told us at the beginning of the year, yeah, McCoy and Gibson not in for this game, no way. But the way these guys have played there, I think they're going to hold up and be okay, and I think they're going to sneak away a close game. And I think they can match up in the trenches with Georgia on both sides of the ball. Now the offensive side of the ball is a bigger question, obviously, right?
Well,
and Georgia pressures at a 50%-ish rate against Tennessee. People don't do that. Georgia gets away with it. You got to make them pay.
Well, I spoke earlier for Vanderbilt, South Carolina, about an opportunity for Diego Pavia to further, kind of put his stamp on Vanderbilt football lore here. And we already know. I mean, when he's done, he's going to be one of, if not the most celebrated football player in the history of Vanderbilt football. So I think we know that at this point. Joey Aguilar is not going to be that, I don't think.
Hey, man.
But I will say this.
Natty.
If he wins against Georgia tomorrow, I mean, it's going to be like the next 2 weeks is going to be like he's a folk hero out there. Like particularly if they win because of him. Like if he plays really, really well in that game. I mean, the opportunity, we talked about this when the move was made. I mean, the opportunity for him to be like an all-time fan favorite Tennessee guy is there just because of the situation that he came here from and why he's here. So if he goes out there and beats Georgia in his first SEC start, I mean, it's going to be he'll never have to pay for anything around there ever again.
Oh, no question. No question. And obviously Hendon Hooker kind of came out of nowhere and was just amazing and should have been in New York for the Heisman ceremony. But the Aguilar side of this whole thing with Nico, we haven't really talked about that much. But like again, think about it. It's like Okay, well, you got your chance at a Power 4 school here for your 7th year. Unfortunately, it's UCLA, but you're in the Big Ten, and maybe they'll be better, and good for you. Like, that's an achievement. And that's like, hey, Joey, yeah, so Nico is coming in, and you're just like, you're screwed.
Yeah.
And it took Tennessee striking out on who have we figured out? Altmaier for sure. He has confirmed that.
I can't confirm it, but I would imagine that the kid from Kansas State, whose name is
and
currently
Avery
escaping
Johnson.
me. Yeah,
Altmaier and Avery Johnson.
Yeah.
And who knows who else may have been inquired about, et cetera, et cetera. And it's, I mean, he was a crap. Okay, I guess we'll take the UCLA kid because he's available now. Okay, fine. And it's 2 games and it's not great competition, but that's pretty cool, man. It's a pretty cool story. It's a cool story with his family. They're crying in the stands. And as soon as he beats Georgia on Saturday, when, not if.
Oh, God.
I know. When they lose by 30, you're
gonna fight you.
Beat my ass Monday morning. But just imagine the absolute. I know I'm coming here with a bulletproof vest
Rexrode,
on.
bring your helmet. Bring your helmet.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man.
But now, I mean, I really like what I've seen from him, and I thought Eric Kane had some good analysis earlier about the tempo. That's what you adjust to. But look, this offense it gives you some answers at quarterback that other offenses don't make as easy for you.
Yeah.
It really does.
For sure. I would describe it this way for the Titans. Low expectations from all 3 of us, a chance to supersede those expectations for the Titans on Saturday or on Sunday. Very low expectations that I have in this game.
This is a low T alert.
We got low E for the low T.
Let me tell you, won't be hard for the Titans to supersede my expectations on Sunday. That's my positive spin on it. Heading into the home opener.
I don't know if Top Tier is serious on the YouTube chat, but he or she says Titans are a lock this week.
All right.
So I don't know. That may be
lock to cover or lock to win.
I don't know. I mean, if you say lock, I think it's a lock to win. Ricky says they tried to get. Is that right? They tried to get the USF quarterback. Is that right? I did not hear that.
I don't know.
If I was Alex Golish, I would be none too happy with my former boss Josh Heupel if that were the case. That'd be interesting. I like him.
Do
He's
some
really
digging. Get in there and ask him this weekend.
Well, in all seriousness, I talked to him for like a half hour yesterday.
Oh,
I didn't know. Why did you tell me this before, Ricky? That would have been a great question.
That's going to do it for us today. Hope everybody has a wonderful weekend. Enjoy the football. We'll be back Monday morning. Next Man Up with Jake Lyman is coming up next. You're listening to 102.5 The Game.